The night my daughter-in-law found me sitting in darkness. I was already telling myself the same lie I had repeated for months. I am fine. I told myself that even as I wrapped the third sweater around my shoulders, even as I kept the lights off to save a few more dollars, even as my stomach clenched and unclenched from hunger, every light in the house was off. The refrigerator hummed like a thin, tired breath behind me. Even though it held nothing but half a bottle of water and a single mustard packet, I had not tasted a full meal in days. But I stayed quiet, afraid of being a burden. This story is an original creation by the Heridas Familia 1 writing team, inspired by the hidden corners of family life, and told with the purpose of fostering emotional connection and spreading understanding. My name is Karis Ellington, 70 years old. I thought I had hidden the truth well enough. I thought no one would come by tonight. But then came a knock sharp, quick, almost urgent. I froze. Only one person knocked like that. Mom. It's me, Jenna. Her voice slipped through the cracks of the door like warmth I had nearly forgotten. I hesitated before forcing myself up from the couch, knees stiff from the cold. When I opened the door, the hallway light spilled inside, touching all the shadows I had been living in. Jenna's eyes widened. Mom, why is it so dark in here? I tried to smile. I like it calm at night. Helps me relax. But her gaze slid past me first to the thermostat reading 52 degrees, then to the layered sweaters on my body. She walked straight into the kitchen, opened the refrigerator, and stopped. Mom, there is no food. Her voice was quiet, almost strangled. You receive a $5,000 pension every month. What happened? My throat tightened. I wanted to tell her something that sounded reasonable, something that would not embarrass my son. Before I could form the words, the front door opened again. Heavy steps, a familiar exhale. Eric stepped into the room as if nothing were wrong. Jenna, he said, shutting the door behind him. You are here late. She stared at him, shaking. Eric, your mother is freezing. She has nothing to eat. He didn't blink. I told you before, he said calmly. I control every dollar she receives. She gets confused with bills. This is easier for everyone. The world didn't tilt, but something inside me did. Hearing him say it out loud so casual, so certain, felt like being pushed into cold water. Jenna turned slowly, as if she were afraid of what she might do next. She reached up, removed one earring, then the other, placing them on the counter with a soft click that sounded louder than any shout. Eric, she whispered, we are not doing this tonight. He frowned, doing what Jenna stepped between us. Her shoulders squared, her jaw set, and for the first time in months, I saw someone standing in front of me not to take control, not to silence me, but to protect me. A small tremor went through my hands. I did not know what was going to happen next, only that this moment, this tiny spark was going to pull everything into the open. And that was the night. Everything in my quiet, dark house began to shift. Jenna did not leave after Eric stormed upstairs. She stayed in the kitchen with the refrigerator door still open, her hands planted on either side of the empty shelves, as if bracing herself against something heavy. I stood near the counter, fingers twisting together. Jenna, sweetheart, it looks worse than it is. She shut the refrigerator slowly. Mom, there is nothing in here. I was planning to go shopping tomorrow, I whispered. In 52 degrees, she shot back. In 3 sweaters, her voice was not loud, but the disappointment in it settled on me like another layer of cold. Eric's footsteps thudded upstairs, drawers opening and closing. Jenna lowered her voice. How long has this been happening? I shook my head. It is not his fault. I get mixed up with bills sometimes. And he said it was easier if he handled things. That is what he told me too, she said, stepping closer. But mixed up does not mean starving, and it does not mean freezing. I flinched, and she softened only a fraction. Mom, when was the last time you paid a bill yourself? I do not need to, I said quickly. Eric said I should not worry. He said I get confused and he did not want me stressing. Jenna's jaw tightened. He says that to me too. Every time I ask about something, he tells me you get confused. She leaned in, eyes sharp. Do you feel confused? Karis. My name on her lips startled me. I swallowed. No, I just do not want to cause trouble. Trouble, she echoed. You are hungry. I looked down at my hands, at the faint tremor I had been trying to hide for weeks. Jenna noticed. She always noticed. She moved past me, heading for the small desk by the wall where I used to keep my budget binder. She pulled the drawer open. Where is your checkbook? In the bedroom, I said. Eric said it is safer if he keeps it. She closed the drawer. And your mail. Where is that? He picks it up for me, I answered quietly. He said the mailbox is too far in the rain. Jenna stared at me as if she were seeing through every sentence. He picks it up. He keeps the checkbook. He controls the pension. He sets the thermostat. Mom, do you understand how much power he has over you? He is helping, I said, the words sounding small and borrowed. He said I was forgetting things. She took a slow breath and walked toward the front door. On the table nearby sat a small stack of magazines, ones I had not subscribed to. She flipped through them, her movements tight and sharp. Then something caught her eye. A thin corner of an envelope stuck out from under the table leg, dusty, almost invisible. She crouched, pulled it free, and unfolded it. Her eyes moved across the page, and the color drained from her face. The envelope trembled in her hand. Mom, she whispered, voice breaking. Why did Eric hide this from you? I reached for it, heart hammering, already knowing without seeing that whatever lay in that envelope was about to break open everything I had been trying to protect. Jenna handed me the envelope as if it were something fragile. I recognized the logo before I even touched it. The utility company, my name printed neatly across the front. Jenna's voice was unsteady. Mom, this is an overdue shut-off notice, dated 3 weeks ago. My stomach twisted. It must have fallen. Eric said he handled it. She opened the letter fully. It says service will be disconnected if payment is not received. He told me he pays every bill on time. I swallowed hard. He usually does. I thought he did. Thought, she echoed softly, as if the word itself hurt. Did you ever see him pay? Ever I did not need to. He said I should rest. He said worrying about bills would only confuse me. Jenna sat beside me on the couch, holding the paper between us. Mom, this is your house. These are your bills. How long has he been telling you not to look at anything? I pressed my hands together. Since last spring, after I misplaced a statement. He said it was better if he kept track. I did not want to be a burden. She stared at me, eyes wide with something like grief. A burden. You raised him. My throat constricted. He promised Tom. He promised he would take care of me. Jenna set the letter down slowly. Is this what taking care of you looks like? I felt the tremor rise again, crawling up my arms. Maybe I forgot things. Maybe I mixed up the dates. Mom, she said gently, you remembered my birthday last month. You remembered the exact date you retired. Confusion isn't the problem here. I looked away. Eric said I should eat smaller portions. He said it was healthier. Jenna froze. How small, I hesitated, ashamed. Sometimes. Just a handful of crackers. If I stretched them all day, I could make them last. And rice. I have rice. Her breath left her in a sharp exhale. You have a $5,000 monthly pension, and you are rationing crackers. I blinked quickly. trying to stop the tears. I did not want him to think I was wasting money. Jenna's jaw clenched. This is not money management. This is control. Footsteps shifted upstairs. Eric was moving around, unaware of what Jenna was holding in her hands. Now this flimsy sheet of paper that exposed the truth he had been burying. Jenna folded the notice and slid it into her pocket. Her voice was low, steady, unshakable. Mom, I am not leaving you here tonight, and I am not letting this continue. The certainty in her tone wrapped around me like warmth, the kind I had not felt in far too long. Something in the room shifted, subtle, but irreversible, as if the walls themselves had exhaled. Jenna stood, ready to act, while I sat trembling, knowing she was about to step into a fight I had been too afraid to start. Eric came down the stairs slowly, each step practiced, controlled, as if he had already decided how this conversation would go. Jenna stayed standing near the couch, one hand resting lightly on the armrest, the other tucked into her pocket where she had hidden the overdue notice. Eric glanced at us and sighed, the sound heavy with impatience. What now? He asked. Mom, are you upset again? Did something confuse you? Jenna's head snapped toward him. Confuse her. Eric lifted both hands in a dismissive gesture. She gets overwhelmed. You know that. That is why I handle things. I thought we agreed this was easier. Easier for who? Jenna said, for all of us. His tone brightened, as if he were explaining something obvious. Mom does not need to worry about money. She gets her pension. I take care of the bills. Everything stays organized. Then why? Jenna cut in. Is there an overdue utility notice with her name on it? He blinked. What? She pulled the envelope out of her pocket and held it up. This was behind the couch? Dated 3 weeks ago. Service disconnection. You said you paid every bill. Eric's eyes narrowed. She must have dropped it. She has been forgetful. Jenna, you know how she is. I felt my face warm with shame. Jenna stepped closer to me. No, I do not know how she is, she said quietly. I only know how cold this house is, how empty her refrigerator is, and how she is sitting here shaking because she has barely eaten. Eric scoffed. Mom always eats light. Gee. She has done that for years. Jenna stared at him. She told me she rationed crackers. Crackers, Eric. His jaw tightened for a moment, but then he forced a laugh. She exaggerates. She has always been dramatic when she is tired. I winced. Eric, please. He turned toward me. Mom, you know I would never let anything happen to you. You get confused. That is why you need help. Something in Jenna snapped at that word. Confused. She stepped forward, blocking the space between me and him. Say it again, she said. Eric frowned. Say what? But he didn't finish, because Jenna reached up and removed one earring, then the other, placing them on the coffee table with slow, deliberate movements. The room went still. Do not call her confused, she said softly. Not again. Not in front of me. Eric's brow furrowed. Really, we are doing this. You are turning this into a fight. Jenna took a breath, steadying herself. Yes, because I walked into a house that feels like a freezer. Because she is wearing layers of sweaters inside her own home. Because her fridge is empty while a pension of $5,000 a month disappears without explanation. Eric's voice sharpened. I explained the pension. I manage it so she does not waste it. She has always been bad with money. Bad with money, Jenna echoed. She worked for 30 years in a school library, balanced every budget they gave her, and never missed a bill in her life. Do not rewrite her history just to excuse what you are doing. Eric's face reddened. You do not understand. You have no idea what is going on. Then explain. Jenna said, I do not owe you an explanation, he replied. Cold now. This is between Mom and me. You are interfering. Jenna shook her head slowly. No, Eric. Interfering is taking her mail. Interfering is hiding overdue notices. Interfering is locking the thermostat. Interfering is letting your mother starve while pretending you are helping. His mouth opened, then closed. For the first time, uncertainty flickered across his face. Jenna glanced at me, her expression tightening with something fierce and loyal. She reached toward me and gently touched my hand, grounding me. Mom, she said quietly, still staring at Eric. You are coming with me tonight. Eric stepped forward sharply. Absolutely not. Jenna didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. You lost the right to make that decision the moment she started skipping meals. Eric's chest rose and fell, anger burning behind his eyes. But Jenna didn't flinch. Her next words settled over the room like a breaking point. We are leaving. She picked up her earrings, slid them into her pocket, and guided me toward the hallway. Her hand steady, her resolve unshakable. And in that moment, I knew this was the beginning of something I could not undo. Jenna was stepping into a fight I had avoided for months, and she would not walk away from it. Not now. Not after seeing the truth. Jenna did not speak again until we were outside. The cold air hitting my face like a slap. Eric stood in the doorway, arms crossed, fury tightening every line of his body. He did not follow us, but his presence pressed against my spine. Jenna opened the passenger door of her car and guided me in gently. Only when she shut the door did she finally exhale. She leaned against the roof for a moment, bracing herself, then slid into the driver's seat. Her voice was steady, but too controlled to be calm. Mom, I need you to listen closely. I nodded, hands folded in my lap, feeling as small as I had felt in years for the next 3 months. She said, do not tell Eric anything about where you are, who you talk to, or what we do. Nothing. My breath caught. 3 months, yes. I need time. She tightened her grip on the steering wheel. Time to understand what he has been doing. Time to get evidence if we need it. Time to make sure you are safe. I shook my head weakly. Eric will be worried. No, she replied. He will be angry he is not in control. That is not the same thing. Her words hit something deep in me. I had avoided naming that truth for so long. Jenna saw the emotion in my face and softened. I am not asking you to choose between us, she said. I am asking you to give yourself a chance to breathe. Just 3 months. And I will handle the rest. She started the engine, letting the heater roar to life. Heat filled the car slowly, and I felt my fingers begin to tingle as they thawed. Come stay at my place tonight, she said, just for warmth. Nothing more. I do not want to cause trouble. I whispered. You are not causing trouble, she said firmly. You are freezing. She reached out and covered my hand with hers. Let me get you warm. Then we take it step by step. The car pulled away from the house. I did not look back, afraid that if I did, fear would drag me inside again. We drove through the quiet neighborhood, streetlights flickering across Jenna's determined face. At a red light, she looked at me again. Mom, yes, tomorrow morning, she said softly. We are going to the hospital. My heart squeezed. I do not need a hospital. I am just tired. Tired people do not lose that much weight, she said. Tired people do not shake from hunger. I tried to argue, but she cut me off gently. We will go, just to be safe. Her voice carried a certainty that made resistance impossible. I leaned back against the seat, a knot of fear tightening in my chest. She reached over and squeezed my hand. We will find out what is going on with your health. And after that, we take everything piece by piece. The hospital lights were waiting for me, whether I was ready or not. The emergency room felt too bright, too loud, too fast. I tried to tell Jenna we could leave, that I did not want to take up space on a busy morning. But she kept her hand on my back and guided me toward the intake desk. "She needs to be seen," Jenna told the nurse. "She has been dizzy, losing weight, and she has not been eating properly." I opened my mouth to soften her words, but the nurse was already studying me with a frown. Within 20 minutes, I was in an exam room, sitting on a narrow bed while a young doctor flipped through chart pages. He looked up at me. "Mrs. Ellington, I am going to speak plainly." "All right," I nodded, fingers twisting the edge of the blanket. "You weigh 104 pounds. Your chart from 3 years ago lists you at 138. Jenna sucked in a breath. I stared at the floor. The doctor continued. "Your blood pressure is low, your heart rate is elevated, and your blood work shows severe vitamin D deficiency, vitamin B12 deficiency, and clinical malnutrition." Jenna whispered. I knew it. I knew something was wrong. I tried to smile. Age catches up with everyone. But the doctor shook his head. "This is not age. This is inadequate nutrition over a prolonged period." His words pressed down on me. I felt suddenly exposed, as if he could see every skipped meal. Every night I waited until my stomach stopped growling before lying down. There was a gentle knock on the door. A woman stepped in gray cardigan, clipboard in hand. Soft eyes that made me tense even before she spoke. "Mrs. Ellington." "Yes," I said weakly. "I am Marla, a hospital social worker. Your daughter-in-law told me she is concerned about your living situation. Would it be all right if we talked for a few minutes?" I hesitated. But Jenna touched my arm. "Mom, please." Marla pulled up a chair and sat close. "I know these conversations can feel uncomfortable," she said, "but they are important. Can you tell me who manages your finances?" I swallowed. "My son, Eric. He said it is easier that way. Do you have access to your own accounts?" "He keeps the checkbook," I murmured. "He pays the bills." Marla nodded slowly. "Do you choose when you eat or what you buy?" My chest tightened. "Not really. Eric. He said I was spending too much. He said I needed to let him help." Marla exchanged a look with Jenna, then turned back to me. "What about your mail?" "He brings it to me," I said. "Sometimes. Not always." "And your pension?" She continued gently. "Do you see the deposits or withdrawals?" My face flushed. "No." Her voice softened even more. "Mrs. Ellington, what you are describing is a pattern we see in cases of elder financial abuse." The word abuse hit me like a cold wave. I recoiled. "Eric loves me. He would never." Marla reached out but did not touch. "Abuse does not always come from strangers. Sometimes it comes disguised as help." Jenna let out a shaky breath. I tried to tell her. My heart pounded. He said I was confused, that I could not keep track. "Do you feel confused?" Marla asked. I thought of the overdue notice, the empty fridge, the thermostat locked at 52 degrees. My shaking hands. "No," I whispered. I felt scared. "That is different." Marla nodded firmly. "Then you are not confused, Mrs. Ellington. You are being controlled." A tear slipped down my cheek before I could stop it. The doctor stepped closer. "From a medical perspective, we need to consider whether you are safe returning to your current environment." Safe. The word stung. Jenna stood, her voice tight. "She is coming home with me today. I will not let her go back there." Marla scribbled notes. "We will file a report with Adult Protective Services. They will review your situation and begin documenting the financial concerns. There may also be follow-up interviews." I felt dizzy again, but this time from fear. "If Eric finds out," I murmured. Jenna took my hand, steady and warm. "He will not find out from you. I promised you 3 months. I meant every word." Marla smiled gently, closing her notebook. "This is the first step, Mrs. Ellington. We are going to help you. Their confidence held me together as the room seemed to sway. My life had been shrinking quietly for months. Now everything was opening at once, terrifying, necessary, unstoppable. And somewhere across the city, Eric had no idea the truth was finally slipping out of his grasp. Jenna waited until we were settled in her living room, a blanket over my legs and a mug of warm tea between my hands. She sat close, laptop open, her expression tight with purpose. "Mom," she said gently, "I need your online banking login." My stomach knotted. "Eric handles all of that, I know." She did not look away from me. "But you had an account long before he stepped in. We are going to check it." My hands trembled around the mug. "If he sees us looking—" "He will not," she said firmly. "You are with me now." Remember, I nodded, though fear pulsed through me like a second heartbeat. She opened the browser. "Do you remember your old password?" I hesitated, then whispered it. My fingers felt clumsy as I typed. But the moment I hit the final letter, the screen flickered and the account dashboard loaded. Jenna exhaled slowly. "All right, let's see." The first line hit hard. "Pension deposit, $5,000. Right beneath it. Same day, same hour. Withdrawal, $5,000. Jenna stared at the screen. "He took everything the moment it came in." My throat tightened. "Maybe it goes to a joint account." "Maybe he is saving Mom," she said quietly. "Look at this." She scrolled down the list of transactions. There were no grocery charges, no medical copays, no utility bills, no pharmacy visits. Instead, restaurant after restaurant, electronic stores, online retailers, weekend charges at places I had never heard of. Jenna's mouth flattened. "This is not caretaking. This is spending." I felt a wave of shame rush over me. He told me the money was tight, that I needed to stop eating so much, that groceries were expensive. Jenna turned to me. "You were eating rice and crackers while he spent hundreds on takeout." My eyes burned. I thought I was helping. "You were being controlled," she said, her voice breaking. She scrolled further, then she stopped. "Here," she murmured. "Look." A recurring withdrawal appeared every month. Same date. Same amount, $360. She read aloud. "Every month. What is this?" I shook my head. "I do not know. It is not the mortgage that is already paid off." "Right?" "Yes," I whispered. "Your father and I paid it off almost 10 years ago. Then what is he paying $360 for every month in your name?" Her face darkened with something deeper than anger. Fear disguised as certainty. She clicked the line. A new page loaded. My heart lurched. "Mom." Her voice went very quiet. "This is a loan." "A loan," I repeated, the word crawling slowly across my mind. Jenna nodded, jaw clenched. "A personal loan, taken out in your name for thousands of dollars. The monthly payment is coming from your account." I shook my head. "I never signed for a loan. I would never—" "I know," Jenna said, "which means he did." The room felt colder than my house had been. My breath turned shallow, my hands shaking uncontrollably. "Mom," Jenna whispered, reaching for me. "This is serious. He is not just taking your pension. He is using your identity." My vision blurred. Why? Why would he do that? Jenna closed the laptop slowly, her expression set with quiet determination. "We are going to find out." Her voice held the weight of something final, something unstoppable. And the number on the screen, $360, echoed through my mind long after she shut everything down. Jenna reopened the laptop with a deliberate calm that did not match the tension in her shoulders. I sat beside her, still clutching the mug she had given me earlier, though the tea had long gone cold. "Let's trace it," she said, Every loan leaves a trail. My voice came out thin. Eric told me not to worry about paperwork. He said the internet was confusing. Jenna gave a hollow laugh. Convenient. She clicked the loan details. A new window expanded, and there it was, my name, my address, my date of birth. All correct, all stolen. The loan amount made my heart stop. $10,000, Jenna whispered. My breath stuttered. I never asked for that. I know you did not. Her tone was firm, almost protective. But someone did. Using your information. She scrolled down, and then she froze. Oh my God, what is it? I asked. Voice cracking. Jenna turned the screen toward me. Under purpose of loan. Startup inventory for online retail business. Beneath that applicant's representative, Eric Ellington. My son's name. On a loan taken out under my identity. For a business he never mentioned. I pressed a hand to my chest. Eric said he was saving money. He said he could not afford risks. Jenna shook her head slowly. Mom, this is fraud. This is identity theft. The words felt too big, too sharp. He promised he would take care of me. Taking care of you does not look like this. Her voice trembled with anger she was barely holding in. She clicked a second tab transaction history tied to the loan. Every withdrawal matched purchases from supply companies, shipping services, and online ads, all dated months before my fridge went empty. He used the loan, Jenna said, jaw tight, on a business that clearly did not work. And then he let the repayment come out of your pension. A cold ache settled in my chest. I thought he was protecting me. I murmured. I thought I was helping. You were being used, Jenna said. He gambled with your credit. And when the business failed, he let you take the fall. My eyes blurred. If companies have my information, will they come after me? Yes, Jenna said softly. Unless we act fast. This is not just mismanagement. This is illegal. She closed the laptop gently, as if she feared it might shatter. We need someone who knows how to handle this. Someone who understands financial law. Someone who can protect you before Eric makes another move. I looked at her, feeling smaller than I ever had in my 70 years. Who? I whispered. Jenna took a slow breath, steadying herself. I know someone. She said, a specialist, an elder law attorney who deals with cases like this. He helped my aunt when her caregiver stole thousands of dollars. He will know what to do. My heart thudded painfully. Jenna, if Eric finds out. He will not, she said, gripping my hand. Not until we are ready. The weight of her words settled over me. I had spent months shrinking under fear. Now, for the first time, Jenna was pulling me toward something else. Toward truth. Toward protection. Toward a fight I had never imagined facing, and she would not let me face it alone. Jenna insisted on driving. Her jaw was tight the entire way into downtown Portland, as if any wrong turn might shatter her control. I sat quietly, hands folded, heart pounding in a slow, frightened rhythm. When we reached the office, Hale and Garrison, elder law Jenna placed a steadying hand on my arm. He is good, Mom, she murmured. Really good. Just be honest. I nodded, though honesty felt heavier than anything I had carried. Inside, the receptionist guided us to a small conference room with a long wooden table. Minutes later, a tall man with calm eyes and silver at his temples entered. Mrs. Ellington, he said warmly, extending his hand. I am Rowan Hale. Jenna has told me the basics. I am very sorry you are going through this. His sympathy nearly undid me. Rowan sat across from us, opened a folder, and folded his hands. Before we discuss any legal action, I need to protect you from a very predictable move. I swallowed. What move? Your son may claim you are mentally incompetent, Rowan said gently. He may say you were confused, unable to make decisions, or easily manipulated. I shrank back in my chair. Jenna's face hardened. Eric already says that, she muttered. All the time. Rowan nodded, as if that confirmed what he already suspected. That is why I need you to take a cognitive assessment, he continued. Not because I doubt you, but because we need documented proof before we proceed. It will prevent Eric from challenging anything we do. My stomach twisted. What if I fail? You will not, Rowan said matter-of-factly. You are clear, articulate, and aware, but the law needs evidence. Jenna squeezed my hand. The test took almost 3 hours. Memory tasks, problem-solving exercises, pattern recognition. By the end, my palms were damp and I felt years older. Rowan returned with a fresh set of papers. Mrs. Ellington, he said with a small smile, you scored above average for your age, also. You are fully competent. Now we move forward. Relief washed over me so sharply I had to exhale slowly to steady myself. Rowan spread several forms across the table. Here is the plan. First, we secure your assets. That means creating an irrevocable trust. Your home, your savings, your pension, everything goes in. You will still have full benefit, but Eric will have no access. No access. Jenna repeated softly. Good. Rowan continued. Second, we gather proof of financial exploitation. Jenna told me about the loan in your name. I nodded. That, combined with the empty refrigerator, the malnutrition diagnosis, and the pension withdrawals. This is a strong case. Very strong. My hands trembled. Do we have enough? We will, Rowan assured me, because I am going to request your financial records from the past 2 years. Every transaction, every transfer, every authorization. Jenna leaned forward. What about the bills, the ones he said he paid? We will obtain those as well, Rowan replied. If there are notices, late fees, or service interruptions, they will help us. He stood and gestured toward the hallway. If you are comfortable, I would like to check something now. Jenna and I followed him to a small office where a printer hummed quietly. Rowan typed something into a database, waited, then frowned slightly. Interesting, he murmured. There was a document filed last year under your name, Mrs. Ellington. My pulse stuttered. Filed. What kind of document? He clicked, scanned, then turned the monitor toward us. A form appeared, a poorly formatted legal-looking document. Temporary Financial Authorization Agreement. My signature, my forged signature, sat at the bottom, but above it, in neat digital ink, Authorized Representative Eric Ellington. Jenna inhaled sharply. He made her sign something. Rowan shook his head. No, this is not legally binding. It looks like something generated from a template site, but it proves intent. Intent to what I whispered. Rowan turned the screen back. Intent to take control. It shows he has been setting this up for months. Maybe longer. I felt the chair steady beneath me, the world tilting slowly as the truth settled in. Eric had not stumbled into control by accident. He had been preparing for it, crafting it, building it. And Rowan Hale had just uncovered the first real proof. Rowan slid the printed document across the table toward me as if he were afraid it might break apart in his hands. I stared at it, the black letters blurring, not from poor eyesight but from the sudden rush of shame. I do not remember signing this. I whispered. Jenna leaned in. Mom, look at the date. My eyes moved slowly to the corner. 2 months after my husband died. 2 months after I could barely get out of bed. Jenna's voice wavered. That was when you were grieving so hard you barely spoke. Rowan tapped the page gently. This is exactly the time predators, sometimes even family members, take advantage. You were vulnerable, overwhelmed, and trusting. I shook my head in disbelief. Eric told me it was just a permission form so he could help with online banking. I did not understand half of what he said. I just nodded. I never thought my own son would. My voice died, trapped in my throat. Rowan softened his tone. Mrs. Ellington, this document cannot give him control. It is not legally binding. It is vague, sloppy, and unsigned by any witness or notary, so it means nothing. Jenna asked. It means everything, Rowan said quietly. Not in court, but as evidence of manipulation. It shows forethought, planning, a pattern. I felt my stomach twist. He promised Tom he would look after me, and instead he prepared this. Rowan replied, Your son used your grief to carve out authority he never had. Jenna pressed a hand to her mouth. He waited until she was alone, until she had no one thinking clearly. My God. Rowan nodded. This is deliberate positioning. It lays the groundwork for controlling her finances, her decisions, even her daily life. And it happened early, well before the pension withdrawals. I stared at my own scribbled signature. It didn't look like mine. It looked shaky, rushed, almost childlike. I must have been so tired. I whispered. I would have signed anything just to keep the day quiet. Jenna reached for my hand. Mom, you trusted him. That is not a crime. What he did is... Rowan pulled out another stack of papers. This is why we must act quickly. Once we redirect your pension into the trust's protected account, Eric will realize he no longer has access. When that happens, he will react. I closed my eyes. How Rowan didn't hesitate. Possibly anger, possibly guilt tactics, possibly showing up unannounced, and very possibly trying to drag you back under his control. I felt a cold shiver ripple through me. Jenna squeezed my hand tighter. Let him try. Rowan nodded firmly. We will be prepared. Once the pension deposit hits next week, it will go into the trust under your control, not his. That is the moment everything shifts. For the first time in months, I felt something rise inside me, not fear, not confusion, resolve. Eric would discover the missing money soon, and when he did, I knew he would come looking. He arrived sooner than any of us expected. Late afternoon sunlight barely touched the porch when a hard, rapid pounding shook Jenna's front door. I froze in the hallway, the sound drilling straight into my chest. Jenna peeked through the side window, her shoulders tensed. It's him, she whispered. Stay back. The pounding grew louder. Jenna, open the door. I know she's in there. His voice, my son's voice, sounded raw, frantic. Nothing like the confident tone he used when dismissing my concerns. Jenna opened the door only a few inches, positioning herself squarely in the frame. Eric, she said calmly. Lower your voice. Where is she? He demanded, pushing against the door. Mom, come out here. I pressed a hand over my mouth. Swallowing the urge to answer, Jenna didn't budge. She is safe. And she is not speaking with you right now. His eyes blazed. Safe. She's my mother. I take care of her. You cannot just take her away. Jenna let out a breath. Take care of her. Is that what you call locking the thermostat at 52 degrees? Leaving her with no food? Hiding her mail? That is not. She misunderstands things. He snapped. She gets confused. Jenna stepped outside, closing the door behind her so he could not look past her. She is not confused. Her cognitive assessment shows she is above average for her age. That excuse is gone. He blinked, thrown for a moment. What assessment? The one ordered by her attorney. Eric's face drained. Attorney? What attorney? The one who is filing her case, Jenna said flatly. Financial exploitation. Identity misuse. Neglect. His voice rose, cracking. You are blowing everything out of proportion. I did what I had to do. Money has been tight. I was managing it for her." Managing, Jenna reached into her pocket, pulled out the folded paper she had brought to the door. These are her hospital records from 2 days ago. Severe malnutrition. Vitamin D deficiency. Vitamin B12 deficiency. She lost over 30 pounds. Eric shook his head violently. No. No. That is exaggerated. She does not eat much. She never has. Jenna unfolded the next paper screenshots printed from her laptop. These, she said, are the bank statements. Every pension deposit taken out within the hour. Hundreds spent on restaurants, electronics, and online orders. None of it for her. She said I could. Eric protested. She told me to handle things after Dad died. She signed a permission form. It is invalid. Jenna said, and you know it. His breathing turned uneven. Where is the pension money? It did not show up in my account this month. Where did you move it? Into a protected trust, she said. Under her name. Not yours. Something in him cracked anger, giving way to panic. You do not understand, he said, stepping closer. I am drowning. The business failed. I owe so much. I needed time. I needed Jenna cut him off. You needed your mother's money to fix your own mistakes. And you nearly starved her to do it. He looked down, hands shaking. I never meant to hurt her. He whispered. Jenna's voice softened just slightly, though her stance did not. Then you need to step back, right now. Until this is sorted legally, he lifted his eyes. Desperation now fully visible. Let me talk to her. No, Jenna said, not today. Not until she is strong enough. Eric hesitated, torn between fury and something like shame. Then, slowly, he stepped off the porch. This is not over, he said. I know, Jenna replied. And next time, it will not be at my door. It will be in a lawyer's office. He walked away, shoulders hunched, as if the weight of everything had finally landed on him. Inside, I stood trembling, hearing every word and knowing this was only the beginning. Jenna made sure the door was locked before she let me step into the living room. My knees were still trembling from hearing Eric's voice on the porch, but I forced myself to sit upright on the couch. I needed to face him. I needed to hear the truth from his own mouth. Jenna opened the door only a few inches when Eric returned to the porch after pacing the walkway like a trapped animal. If you come inside, she told him, you stay in the entryway. If you raise your voice, you leave. He nodded once, a jerky, desperate motion. She let him in. Eric stepped inside, and the moment his eyes found me sitting on the couch, he looked like someone who had been hit. His bravado collapsed, leaving something raw and unguarded. Mom, he breathed, please, let me talk to you. Jenna leaned against the wall, arms crossed, ready to intervene. But she didn't speak. She let him walk a few hesitant steps closer. He stopped when he was still several feet away from me. Mom, I am sorry, he whispered. I never meant for things to get like this. My fingers twisted together in my lap. Then why did they? He blinked rapidly. Because I made mistakes. Stupid mistakes. After Dad passed, I thought I could fix everything. I thought I could build something for the family, make him proud. By taking out a $10,000 loan in my name, I asked softly. He closed his eyes. I was drowning. The business seemed promising at first. Online sales, drop shipping, all those things people make look easy. I thought it would take off and I could pay the loan back before you even noticed. But it did not take off. I said, no, he whispered. It crashed. Hard. And then the debt collectors started calling. I did not want you to know, and I did not want Jenna to see how badly I failed. So I borrowed from you. Borrowed. Jenna's voice cracked through the air. You emptied her pension every month. Eric looked at the floor. I was going to pay it back when things turned around. I just needed time. You let her starve, Jenna said. You let her freeze. His head snapped up. It was not supposed to go that far. I thought if she ate lightly and we kept the heat down. You locked the thermostat. Jenna cut in. You took her food money. You took her mail. He looked at me desperately. Mom, I never wanted to hurt you. I panicked. I could not admit I failed. Not after Dad always talked about responsibility, about stepping up. I thought if I could just fix the mess quietly, I would give you a comfortable life again. A tear slipped down my cheek. A comfortable life, Eric. I was eating crackers. He took a step toward me, but Jenna's arm shot out, stopping him. He stopped instantly. I am sorry, he said again, voice breaking. I am so sorry. I was terrified. Every night I would lie awake thinking the business would recover, that I would return your savings, that one good month would erase everything. It does not erase anything, Jenna said. Not the weight she lost, not the fear she lived in. Eric's voice cracked. Mom, please, I am still your son. I looked at him, his hunched shoulders, his trembling hands, his shame. For a moment, all I saw was the boy who used to crawl into my bed after nightmares. But then another image flashed: the empty fridge, the cold living room, the shaking in my hands as I tried to pretend I was fine. My heart splintered, pulled painfully between memory and truth. Eric swallowed hard. If you help me just a little longer, just until I get back on my feet, I can make this right. I can fix it. Jenna stared at him with disbelief. You want her to save you, she said, after you almost destroyed her. Eric looked only at me. Please, Mom, I need you. I have no one else. My breath trembled. He was right. He was also the one who had put me in this position. My chest tightened, and I felt a slow, heavy truth rising inside me. If I saved him again, I might never save myself. And for the first time in my life, I did not know which choice would break my heart more. Rowan spread the documents across the conference table one by one, each page crisp, heavy, and final. My name sat at the top of every sheet. Seeing it repeated made my stomach twist. Mrs. Ellington, Rowan said gently, this irrevocable trust will protect everything you own. Once it is signed, your son cannot access your house, savings, pension, or accounts. Not now, not later. Jenna sat beside me, hands folded, posture tense, and I will manage the trust. Everything will stay in her name, but I will oversee the payments and transfers so no one can take advantage of her again. I nodded, though my throat felt tight. I understand. Rowan tapped the first page. Your home will be transferred into the trust. You retain full rights to live in it, sell it, or change its use. But Eric cannot force any decisions or claim ownership. My fingers curled. He always said he would take care of the house. Jenna leaned closer. Mom, you took care of that house for over 30 years. He is not taking anything from you again. Rowan turned to the next section. Your savings accounts. All funds will transfer under the trust's umbrella. Jenna will manage them as trustee. This gives you protection against unauthorized withdrawals. I felt heat rise in my chest, shame, fear, and something like relief all tangled together. And the pension, Rowan continued. It will now deposit directly into the trust account. Eric will not see a single dollar of it. My breath stuttered. He will panic. Yes, Rowan said calmly. He will. But he will have no legal standing to change it. He slid a pen toward me. Are you ready? Mrs. Ellington. I hesitated, the pen trembling in my grasp. For 70 years, I had believed protecting my son meant supporting him, forgiving him, trusting him. Signing this trust felt like severing something I had spent a lifetime building. But then I remembered the cold, the empty fridge, the $10,000 loan in my name, The nights I went to sleep hungry while he ordered takeout. My hand steadied. I signed the first page. My signature wavered. Not from doubt, but from the weight of the moment. Rowan turned the next page. I signed again and again, dozens of signatures, each one pulling another thread from Eric's grasp. When it was done, Rowan gathered the papers carefully and said, "It is official. Eric no longer has any authority, legal, financial, or practical, over your life." Jenna let out a shaky breath, relief flooding her face. I pressed a hand over my chest, feeling my heartbeat steady for the first time in months. "He will know," I murmured. "When the pension appears somewhere else, he will know." Jenna met my gaze, her voice firm. "Let him find out. This time, he cannot touch you." For the first time, I believed her. The mediation room felt colder than it should have, but maybe it was just the weight of what was about to happen. I sat between Rowan and Jenna, both of them steady and silent. Across from us, Eric walked in, shoulders tight, refusing to look at me. Harriet, the mediator, offered a polite greeting before nodding at Rowan. "Let us begin." Rowan placed a folder on the table. "Medical documentation," he announced. Eric scoffed. "Mom is fine." "She exaggerates." And Jenna Rowan lifted one page. "Hospital report from St. Mary's. Severe malnutrition, vitamin D deficiency, vitamin B12 deficiency, 34 pounds lost in less than 1 year." He looked directly at Eric. "Which part is an exaggeration?" Eric flushed. "She barely eats." "That is not my fault." Jenna leaned forward. "She barely ate because you took her money." "I was protecting her," Eric snapped. Rowan calmly opened another folder. Bank statements. 2 years of pension deposits of $5,000 withdrawn within 1 hour every month. Restaurant charges, electronics, subscription boxes. Not one grocery purchase for your mother. Eric's voice cracked. "She told me to handle the bills." "Then explain this," Rowan said, sliding over the loan papers, a $10,000 loan in her name. Eric's throat bobbed. "That was temporary. For the business, I plan to repay it." "You defaulted," Rowan said, "and the payments came out of her account." Eric finally looked at me, eyes wide, almost pleading. "Mom, I wanted to build something for us. I thought..." "You thought about yourself." Jenna cut in. Rowan laid down the last page, the permission form from soon after my husband died. My shaky signature. Eric listed as authorized representative. Eric inhaled sharply. She signed it. She agreed. She was grieving. Rowan said, "And the document holds no legal weight, but it does show intention." Harriet clasped her hands. "Mr. Ellington, the evidence demonstrates financial control, identity misuse, and neglect. We need a resolution." Eric sagged. "What happens now?" Rowan spoke evenly. "A repayment plan. $10,000 for the loan, plus pension withdrawals totaling $60,000, paid at $500 monthly. You will have no access to her accounts or property, no authority over her decisions." Eric's face drained of color. "And," Rowan added, "a no-contact agreement. Any communication must go through Jenna." Eric bolted upright. "No, she is my mother. You had 2 years to act like her son," Jenna said. "You chose differently." Harriet turned to me. "Mrs. Ellington, do you agree to these terms?" My hands trembled, but only for a moment. "I do," Eric inhaled sharply. But the papers were printed, signed, sealed. When it was done, the room fell silent. He finally looked at me. "Mom." I stood, meeting his eyes without fear. "Eric," I said, ready at last to speak the truth he had spent years avoiding. The mediator and Rowan were still gathering papers when Eric turned toward me, eyes wide and wounded. Mom, can I speak to you alone, please? Jenna tensed. Only if she wants to. I nodded slowly. Just a moment. Jenna, stay near. Eric and I stepped into the small waiting area outside the conference room. The quiet there felt too big, too heavy. For a long moment, he just stood in front of me, his hands twisting together the way they used to when he was afraid to admit he broke something. Mom, he said finally, voice cracking, I am sorry. I am so sorry. I know I said that before, but I mean it this time. I never wanted things to go this far. I looked at him, really looked at him, and saw everything at once. The little boy who used to run to me after school, the teenager who tried too hard to impress his father, the man who now trembled in front of me because the truth had finally boxed him in. I believe you are sorry, I said quietly. He swallowed hard. I love you. I always have. I was ashamed. After Dad died, I felt like I had to take his place. I thought if I failed both of you. I did not know how to say I was drowning. And so you dragged me under with you, I replied. He winced like the words struck him physically. I never meant to hurt you. I swear it, I just thought I could fix it all if I had a little more time. I know, I said, but intentions do not fill a refrigerator. Intentions do not keep a house warm. Intentions did not stop the fear I lived with every day. He blinked rapidly, wiping at his eyes. I want to make this right. I will pay you back. I will do whatever you ask. Just do not shut me out. The plea twisted something inside me. I took a breath that felt like stepping onto thin ice. Eric, I said gently, you are my son. Nothing will ever make that untrue. I love you because I raised you. I love you because you came from my own body. But I cannot trust you with my life anymore. His face crumpled. Mom, let me finish, I said softly. He closed his mouth. I cannot put myself in danger again to keep you comfortable. I cannot ignore what happened just because you are hurting now. Love does not erase harm, and harm does not erase love. They exist together, but only if boundaries hold the space between them. He sank onto the bench, shoulders shaking. So what happens now? You follow the agreement, I said. You repay what you owe. You speak to me through Jenna for now. And if you want to earn back pieces of trust someday, then you show it through real change, not words said when you are frightened. He looked up at me with a kind of stunned grief. Do you think I can change? I hope so, I said. But hope is not a plan. That part is up to you. He nodded slowly, as if absorbing the shape of a future he had never imagined. Jenna stepped out of the conference room then, watching us quietly. It is time to go, she said. Eric stood, wiped his eyes, and whispered, I am sorry, Mom. Before walking past us and out the building's glass doors, I watched him disappear down the hallway, my son, flawed and frightened and fully responsible for the path ahead. Jenna slipped her arm through mine. Come on, she murmured. Let's get you home. And for the first time in years, I knew exactly what home needed to look like for me now. Jenna helped me carry the last box up the stairs to my new apartment, a small one-bedroom overlooking a quiet courtyard. The walls were soft cream, the floors warm oak. Nothing fancy, nothing heavy, just space that belonged to me. She set the box on the counter and exhaled. How does it feel, Mom? I looked around. No thermostat lock, no dim hallways, no silence thick enough to smother thought. Just air, just room to breathe. It feels safe, I said. Jenna smiled and squeezed my shoulder. That's all I want for you. She stayed long enough to help unpack the basics dishes. Blankets, my small collection of recipe cards written in my handwriting, not Eric's. When she left, she hugged me tight. You call me if you need anything. I will, I promised. The apartment settled after the door closed. And for the first time in a year, the quiet felt like comfort. instead of punishment. 2 days later, I walked to the grocery store at the corner, a cart rolling easily behind me. I bought eggs, spinach, bread, and a small jar of good jam, the kind I had not let myself buy in months. The cashier smiled. "Good morning, Mrs. Ellington?" I blinked. "You know my name. You joined the library volunteers last week. I shelve books in the same section." I felt a gentle warmth spread through me. Oh, yes, that was me. It felt good to be known for reasons that had nothing to do with fear or debt. Jenna visited often, sometimes just to drop off a plant or new tea flavor, but she never hovered, never took control. She simply checked in, a steady presence instead of a shadow. "This group might be good for you," she said one afternoon, handing me a flyer. "Senior Center Financial Safety Circle." I hesitated. "Do people really talk openly about those things?" She nodded. "More than you think." So I went. The first time, I barely said my name. The second time, I shared one sentence. The third time, I spoke longer, slowly, carefully about the empty fridge, the locked thermostat, the loan I never asked for. A woman across the circle wiped her eyes. "You described my past 5 years," she whispered. Something inside me opened. My voice did not have to hide anymore. One evening, I cooked a small meal, nothing grand, just chicken with rosemary and steamed vegetables. I ate at my table, alone but never lonely. After dinner, I took a walk through the courtyard. Children played hopscotch. A middle-aged man strummed a guitar on a bench. The air smelled faintly of jasmine. I was about to turn back when someone called out, "Mrs. Ellington." It was a young librarian from the volunteer program, waving. "You coming tomorrow? We're sorting the new donations." I smiled. I would not miss it. She grinned and ran back inside. I stood there for a moment, surprised by how natural it felt being part of something again, having purpose, having space, having myself. When I walked back to my apartment, I unlocked the door with my own key, stepped inside my own home, and breathed in the warm, gentle air. And for the first time, the breath did not shake. It filled me. Steady and certain, I was back. The morning light slid quietly across my new kitchen floor, soft and steady, touching the cabinets I had chosen myself. I opened the refrigerator door, and for a moment, I simply stood there looking. Shelves full, vegetables crisp, milk fresh, leftovers from last night neatly stored in small glass containers. Not a single empty space created by fear. Not a single shelf that reminded me of hunger. I let the cool air brush my face before I closed the door gently, as if sealing in a promise. Jenna arrived a few minutes later, tapping her knuckles lightly on the door before coming in. "You already awake?" she asked, smiling when she saw the skillet on the stove. "I could not sleep," I admitted, "but for good reasons this time." She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "How does it feel?" I turned on the stove, the flame catching with a quiet click. "Like breathing. Like I finally know what enough feels like." Jenna nodded, leaning against the counter. "I cannot tell you how proud I am of you." I cracked 2 eggs into the pan. The sound was soft, familiar, comforting. "You helped me remember I deserve safety." I said, "I had forgotten." She exhaled slowly. "Mom, you never deserved anything less." The eggs sizzled. The room warmed. And for the first time, cooking did not feel like an indulgence. It felt like an act of ownership. I plated my breakfast and sat at the table. My table. The chair creaked gently as I settled in, the sound a reminder of how grounded I finally was. Jenna watched me with a proud, quiet smile. "Eat," she said. "No one is taking anything from you." So I lifted my fork and took the first bite. Simple food, but rich with meaning. I ate slowly, savoring every taste, every moment, every breath. This was mine, my kitchen, my meal, my life. When I finished, I rested my hands on the table, letting the peace sink into my bones. Do you regret anything? Jenna asked softly. No, I said. Not anymore. I lived through it. I learned from it, and now I get to choose what happens next. I looked toward the window, where sunlight touched the plants on the sill, tiny leaves reaching up without apology. My real revenge. I continued, was surviving, setting boundaries, telling the truth. The moment I stopped hiding what was happening to me, everything changed. Jenna blinked hard and reached for my hand. You did the bravest thing, Mom. Maybe, I said, but bravery is quieter than people think. Sometimes it is just saying, no more. She squeezed my hand gently. Before she left, she paused at the doorway. You know, she said, one day your story might help someone else. I nodded. I hope it does. When the door closed, I stood alone in my kitchen again, filled, warm, mine, and felt something deep inside me settle into place. Not triumph, not anger, peace. Real, steady peace. And that was worth every broken moment that led here. If someone you loved was quietly starving for the sake of someone else's comfort, how long would you stay silent? Tell me in the comments. And if this story touched you, like and subscribe for more.